Journal in constipation. Front page. Trump pleads not guilty. Potential legal defense carry major drawbacks. Reviewing president appearing in court. Local authorities seek security. Republicans slam agencies' charges at Trump and legal. And in the back, weigh in charges against Trump in Florida. And then the big front page here. This is incredible. Look at what a bunch of crap this is. The Al Jazeera Constitution has a big front, huge papers with nothing but big color pictures, and it says public spectacle in Miami. This isn't a it's standing around. A spectacle was what they did at the freaking White House for Pride Month when they had that guy thinking it's a girl with his fake girl boobs, fondling himself in front of the president and first lady and children. And they call this public spectacle in Miami? Please. I mean, it's just that the bias is unbelievable in this town. Thank God they're going out of business. You know, the newspaper's actually going to stop printing. It's all feature stories anyway, except hate Trump. And by the way, the reason I mentioned this about all the stuff on Trump, not one word again, not one word about the Burisma bribery and the $10 million and the documents and the bank records and the testimony in Congress and the complaint. It's unbelievable. Not one word. A newspaper is supposed to report the news. I can't believe it.
The major networks didn't have anything either on it.
I'll get to in fact, I've got to take a break here. We're going to come back with all the Trump stuff. You hear more about it. Also, Tucker Carlson, MSNBC, got a lot of reaction to Podium Princess. You're going to hear from her arguing with a freaking reporter. For the record, I wrote this down. ABC, NBC, and CBS spent a total of, on the coverage of Donald Trump's arrest and indictment. ABC, NBC, and CBS, 291 minutes. When they covered the crime bribery Burisma story, 0 seconds. 0. The media did not cover it. 0. Something's wrong in America. 314. Extra 106.3. Give us a call, will you? Get out of here. You're killing me. Look out. All right, here we go. Stand by. It's all man. That poor guy with his Robert Kennedy Jr. with that voice, and again, it's a disease, and he can't fix it. Nothing he can do about it, which is kind of amazing that they don't have some kind of thing to work with a voice box.
So will he eventually lose his voice, or is he just going to have a voice like that for a while?
I think it affects the way it works. Not that it. I don't think it gets worse. I read about it a couple of months ago when we were doing the podcast, and it's a disease, and it's not totally rare, but it affects the ability of the thing to move, but I don't think it gets worse. But that's the way he's going to talk the rest of his life. I mean, God, imagine him in a debate. People are going to be like, I don't want to hear you. I mean, I feel terrible for the guy because he's got a lot to say. And of course, he's a screaming liberal socialist Kennedy, so I would never vote for the guy. But I think it's important he gets in the race and try. President showers her daughter's never going to debate anybody anyway, which is a shame. But I just feel bad.
I mean, both parties are doing that right now, though.
Well, yeah, true. Although there's, the Republicans, by the time this actually shakes out next year, when they really start going nuts, this fall, later on, man, this could be really interesting.
Entertaining.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry, Flounder, play a little music there for a second. I missed the whole music. Anybody recognize this guy? Or the group? Da, da, da. This is Echo and the Bunnymen. This is the Bunnymen playing right here. And the reason we're playing that, Flounder is playing this, because on this day in 1989, Pete DeFreitas, their drummer for Echo and the Bunnymen playing here, was killed at the age of 27 when his motorbike collided with a car. And again, yesterday...
27 Club.
Prince in the city, yeah. Bummer. Anyway, there's Donald Trump's birthday, 77 today. Once again, here, Flounder's birthday source wrote this as a stupid one-liner. For Donald Trump turned 77 today, Melania will give him the same thing she gives him every year, an ice-cold stare when he asks for sex. Oh, well, that was cold. God damn it. Also, let's see. Oh, on this day, 1942, Anne Frank began writing in her diary a gift for her 13th birthday as she hid from the Nazis. On this day, 1942. And now schools and libraries are actually banning Anne Frank's diary because she admitted writing in the diary things that little girls who are 13 years old talk about and think about, including, I remember we talked about it on the podcast some time ago, where she and her little girlfriend, who was also kind of her age, again, hiding from the Nazis, okay? And she was saying, gee, do you want to see my boobs? And do you have boobs? And, talking about getting older and your body's changing. She talked about kissing and, had a crush on a boy, but they knew they couldn't. I mean, it's teenage stuff. It's remarkable for a young girl, 13, hiding from the freaking Nazis until they killed her. And people are banning the diary. Maybe there's some significance in here. You freaking censors. And they complain that Republicans want to censor books. No. No, you want to have books in schools where they talk about how, in fact, there's a great meme going around. I got it on my phone. I put it on Facebook, I think. The only thing that a 3-year-old boy should know about gender of girls is that girls have cooties. That's the only thing a 3rd grade boy should know about girls is that girls have cooties. That's it. Instead of knowing, gee, I think I feel like a girl, why don't I chop off Henry and the twins? I mean, it's unbelievable anyway. So, screw you censors and you freaking liberals. You're ruining a country. You're going the wrong way. In fact, we have a lot of media stuff going on here today. Pete Davis is with us, and Flounder. Pete, we have Holy Crap at Sports after 5. Also after 5. We'll give away the tickets to go see Greg Gutfeld. We did it at 3 o'clock Monday, 4 o'clock Tuesday. Today we'll give away at 5. A pair of tickets to go see the King of Late Night with Tom Shalhoub, his special guest comedian guy, at the Fox Theater this Saturday. And we'll do that after 5. If you want to buy tickets, go to foxtheater.org. And there you go for the thing with the thing there. One quick story. We got news. We're going to do Trump stuff. We're going to do Rachel Maddow complaining and the AJC. We've got a billion things. And Tucker Carlson all coming up. And the podium princess, Rajin. But first, a quick story. I really enjoyed Joey Jones was on with the Morning Boys again today, which was really entertaining. Again, he's a war hero. He, they blew his legs off over in a bad place as he is a Marine. And he's got a new book out talking about his experiences and so forth. And he talks about his best friend. He's got a Gold Star mom staying with him at his house now from the buddy who was killed. I mean, it's an amazing story. This young man, I think he's 37 or 40 maybe or something like that. And he's got kids and a wife, and he's an incredible guy. He flies on airplanes 4 or 5 times a week and puts up with all kind of stuff with his artificial legs and everything. He was talking about that various stuff. And as a veteran, I really salute him, and we're going to talk about some veteran stuff. I'm having a real issue with the VA right now, and I feel kind of guilty because, a guy like Joey Jones, well, I had his legs blown off, and I still walk around, and I'm complaining about not being treated properly with my possible disability thing. I never got credit. It's a long story. Anyway, I feel guilty that I'm even talking about it. But I will say one quick veterans thing before we go right back into the news today, and it was pretty funny. Going to I checked our post office box, Pete. It's empty, but again, it's okay. Kimmer Media post office box. We're not getting a lot of donations to keep the show going.
Well, now we're back on air.
Yeah,
so.
But again, like I say, if we do well, pretty soon they're going to start paying us to be on the show. Anyway, so I'm at the post office, and there's a guy on my right coming up toward the door, also, and he's a little up to my right and a little bit ahead of me. So I kind of slow down so he can get there first. He's a white-haired guy, probably in his 60s. I don't know. Well, just a guy, white-haired guy, coming toward the door, and he gets there first, and I kind of hold back a little bit, and he holds the door, and he holds the door, and I said, no, go ahead, you got a package here. And he said, no, you go ahead, it's like that. And so we kind of argued about it for a second, and finally I went through, and then he said, thank you for your service. And I'll tell you, for some reason, I had a USMC cover on my hat. Cover is a cover, and I'm getting more people are saying things like that now, which is why I wear it. By the way, I want people.
Why?
Why? Because of Trump?
You were staring at his package.
Well, hi-oh. Pete Davis, ladies and gentlemen. For some of the older boys and girls. But anyway, I thanked him and separified him and was very flattered. And anyway, so that was kind of a little good news story for today. Okay. Now, Donald Trump. We got some more. Let's play some more Donald Trump there, Flounder, if you would. Another soundbite of his speech last night and after he was officially arrested.
Charging a former president of the United States under the Espionage Act of 1917 wasn't meant for this.
Yeah.
Right.
He promised to. This is going to be interesting. In fact, two things. The guys right before us were talking about whether any Republican candidate for president should automatically say, if I'm elected, I'm going to pardon Donald Trump. Mike Pence refuses to say anything about it because he doesn't want to prejudge or whatever, and they're calling him basically a coward or a weakling that he won't commit to, doing the right thing. So my question is, do you believe that any Republican whoever is nominated, or if they're having a debate and there's 10 guys up there, should the question be, if you are elected, will you pardon Donald Trump? Is that an important issue? Does that make a difference? Should they answer the question, and should they all say yes? Would you demand that your political appointee for the Republican nomination, would you demand that he or she say, yes, I will pardon Donald Trump? Just automatically, based on what we all know now about the fix, about going after him. And by the way, I disagree with Neil Bortz. I'm going in the wrong direction here. Neil this morning did a commentary where he said he wants to get rid of Trump. He said if Trump were doing the right thing, he'd get out of the race and give it to somebody else and just get the hell out. You're too much of a troublemaker. And he said the other problem is we have to stop using the argument that, well, they only pick on Trump. They never picked on anybody else. It's not right to say, well, it's not fair because they didn't do it before. Yes, it is exactly fair to say that. There's actually a law if you are specifically persecuting one person and not doing anything else to follow the same law. That is illegal. If you are using your office for political purposes to attack somebody individually and specifically, it's against the law. It's also against all kinds of legal rules, jurisprudence, guidelines and ethics and standards and stuff. So it is important. And his defense is going to say, what about Hillary erasing the emails? I mean, it's a legitimate case. They were under federal subpoena, and the FBI director, as I mentioned yesterday, Jim Comey, had no right, and yet he said, well, she was, she didn't break the law, but she was reckless. In fact, remember, Pete, correct me because I may have gotten the two words wrong. Once he used the word reckless, and then he used the word careless. And I believe he used the word reckless first and then changed it because someone told him, there's a law that says you're not supposed to be reckless with information, but you can be careless, and that's not against the law. And I literally changed the word to describe how Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage could get away with erasing 32,000 federally subpoenaed pieces of information and documents and evidence in a case. And she did it
in normal times.
Yeah.
In normal times, I would agree with what Mike Pence said by being cautious. We don't know. Let's see this play out. Yeah. That's normal times.
Yeah, right. If you don't know anything that's going on. Yeah, right.
The Democratic Party has done something for the first time in a 250-year history of what going after the political opponent. If this was happening in another country, we'd be calling them despots. The Democratic Party has crossed the Rubicon, and the Democratic Party has now become an existential threat to our republic.
And let's recall this too. Bill Clinton was hiding actual audio documents in his sock drawer. Somebody tried to have... I can hear stuff in the background.
I can hear you flounder there. You're talking.
Oh, sorry about that. I had the mic turned up. My apologies.
That's all right. I didn't know if I did something bad. I'm sure it's me.
Confess.
I will. Anyway, and Bill Clinton had audio recordings of secret military information and contact stuff in his sock drawer. They sued to try to get him to release it. He went to court, and Bill Clinton won because the judge, I believe it was a girl judge, said the president of the United States, according to the certain article, I can't remember off the name right now, has absolute authority to take whatever he wants from the White House. Nobody else can. Even the official historian with all the documents has no right to take it from the president if he wants to keep it. Period. They call it the Sox case. And Bill Clinton proved that Trump ought to do whatever the hell he wants with that stuff. 329. I got to go. You're killing me. Have you seen Madonna lately? Oh, dear Lord. You can't recognize her face. I mean, she looks like somebody put a helium balloon in her nose and blew it up. And, it doesn't even look like I feel so bad for her. Anyway, what if she did it? I don't know.
Yeah, she did it to herself.
Anyway, on this day in 1987, Madonna played the first date of her Who's That Girl World Tour at Osaka Stadium in Osaka, Japan. The tour became the highest grossing tour ever. $20 million. Holy smokes. And I love her, some of her songs. I mean, Like a Prayer, I think I have that on my Magic Stick. I love that song, a couple of them.
Also known as a USB drive.
See, there you go. I don't want to know. It's a Magic Stick. I plug it in. I hear the songs.
It's also known as a pansy stick.
No, wait a minute. What the hell are you talking about? It's got all my songs on there. Although I will admit, you want to tell them what songs you put on there, Flounder?
You have the taste of a 13-year-old girl.
I do. I'm sorry.
Today he wanted Hanson Umbop was on there.
I swear that's true.
Lionel Richie, Stuck on You.
Stuck on You. I love it. Well, I forgot what other ones I did.
So did I.
Did I do We Are the World, or was that?
No,
I took that off.
I wouldn't allow that.
No. That's a great single. Well, I like sing. I like.
If you actually watch the video and look at Bob Dylan in there, he is so miserable.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing was that little. Well, I can't remember her name now. The one who goes at the end. She did. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. What's her name?
Cyndi Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper. She's standing next to one of the other girls, and when the other girl is starting to sing her solo, Cyndi Lauper looks at it like she just cut the cheese or something. Like, oh God, just shut up. It's a really weird video. Anyway, the reason I have songs like that is because I sing in my car. When I'm in my car and I'm not listening to the news and stuff, and to see what's going on, if I'm done with stuff and I want to just relax, trying to get up freaking 400 or scumbag 285. I wish they'd fix that stinking. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Focus.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Focus. I like to sing in my car. I was in the Glee Club in prep school. I was in the choir. I was also in the. I was an acolyte in church, in the Methodist church, and I sang in the choir, in the boys' choir, and I sang in the adults' choir in church. And so I love to sing, and so I sing with songs that I can sing along to that I like to do. And so M-Bop is one of them.
You think with all that practice you could carry a tune?
You would think I could carry it. Oh, thank you. Anyway, that's Madonna there on the thing there. All right, quick. I mentioned that Donald Trump's birthday, also Boy George. Donald Trump is 77. I neglected to tell you how old Boy George was, in case you're interested in that. He is 62 today.
I had the under.
Oh, my God. I didn't think he'd make it either. Karma Chameleon was his songs. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? And Time, Clock of the Heart. I've never heard of that one. Here we go. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Or is this Karma Chameleon?
Yeah.
I can't
Karma Chameleon.
Karma Chameleon. Yeah. Boy George, 62 today. Sing me, boy.
If you sing this in your car, people are going to talk about you.
I don't. There'll be no. I don't think I'll have any.
They already are.
Boy George there. Thank you so much. No, it's not that I don't have it. It's okay. I don't. On this day, 1973. We'll get right back to the news. I promise. I'm just going to go through on here. 1973. On this day, Dr. Benjamin Spock, the Common Sense Book of Child and Baby Care author. Dr. Benjamin Spock was arrested with three others, including the priest at, I think, Princeton or Harvard or someplace. They were convicted of conspiring to aid and abet draft dodgers. convicted of the charge in 1973. Back, Vietnam days, there was a whole different thing. In fact, we'll talk about that later on when I get to the veterans thing. Anyway, I want to tap in a couple things. As you know, I know that you, the people who are listening now, most of you or many of you, I don't know how many, we don't have a market analysis, have never heard of us, don't know what we're doing, are used to having more of kind of a sort of a lecturing, sort of a talk show, nationally syndicated kind of thing. We don't do that. We're a little different and stuff like that. And we love phone calls. It's a talk show, and I mean, I'd like to talk with you. I don't want to hear me blithering all the time, and Pete will take over when he needs to and stuff like that, and Flounder and Shane now. But we want to hear your phone calls. A couple of things. First of all, anytime you want to talk about Trump or the election or the Democrats, if whatever side you're on, if you have a comment about the election coming up, this is what we're going to be talking about for a year. So anytime you want to have a comment about Trump, is he good or bad for the party? Does this make a difference? All the stuff that's going on. Has it been unfair? Hillary, whatever. 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. Put it in your phone so you can dial it up easy. When you call and put you on hold, you can hear the show. You're not losing anything. Also, it's Father's Day Sunday, or Sunday. And which makes me cry. I have a real funny thing about Father's Day. And I guess I think probably all divorced fathers whose wives remarried, are probably all in the same position about Father's Day stuff. I don't know. It could be just me. But if you, I really love to do this every year. We try to do it with Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. If you have an idea that will help somebody celebrate Father's Day, especially for kids. And as far as I'm concerned, I tell my kids, I don't want a gift for Father's Day. Call me. I would love to talk to you. We'll do a little, what do you call that, on camera, where you can see your phone with each other kind of thing. FaceTime. I said, we'll do that. I said, honestly, don't worry about sending a card. I mean, I know you're, I'm your, it's not a thing. I just want to communicate with you and know how much. Yeah. So anyway, but on the other hand, especially for younger people and children, if you have an idea of something that really made your father happy or laugh or smile or whatever, what is it? Pass it along. If you have some kind of a gimmick or a gift or an idea or something that really worked with you that your kid did, or something you did for your dad, or an idea from your mother to your kids to do, whatever it is. So if you have something that'll help somebody have a happy Father's Day, please give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. What worked for you? What was good? 404-741-1230. I know this can be kind of schmarky, mamby-pamby for a talk show about Trump and military and stuff, but honestly, it's Father's Day, and it's not Father's Day month, okay? It's not Pride of Father's Day for a month, okay? One lousy stinking day, and thank you. Anyway, so 404-741-1230, or about politics or anything that's going on in here and all that kind of stuff. Okay, back to the news, and please do that stuff on. What happened? We got a call. Here's, is that Betty or Barry? Betty. Looks
Barry.
like Barry. Hey, Barry. Sorry. It's very tiny. It's either B-E-R-R or B-E-T-T, and I couldn't see it. Anyway, here's Barry. Hey, Barry, how's it going? Thank you for calling. What's up?
Pretty good. Long-time listener.
Thank you.
I mean, like for 20 or 30 years.
Wow, cool.
I just want to make sure you guys were aware of the new number one song on iTunes.
The new number one song? No, sir. What is it?
It's Carrie Lake, and the name of the song is 81 Million Votes My Ass. It is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, but wait a minute. Who's found it? We got to get it. What's the name of that person?
It's Carrie Lake, the lady that ran for governor in Arizona.
Oh, I didn't. Carrie, yeah, I got you. And it's a song on, is it YouTube? What'd you say it was?
It's on YouTube too, but it's number one on iTunes. Right now.
We will get. Can we play it on the radio, or is it dirty or anything?
I don't think it's too bad for the radio.
Okie doke. And how are you? And what do you think, Barry? Do you have a political opinion these days? Any going to change your mind about anything?
We have got to turn it around.
Yeah, it's going really bad.
We have a guy in office that he's always been a criminal, but he doesn't even know where he's at now. So he's got to go. It's
really pathetic. Barry, thank you, man. I really do appreciate it. 343. Have you got that? Can you find that song, Flounder? Can we play it?
I would be in the middle of a political movement. I would have said, put down Hunter's crack pipe. Right now. Right now.
I can't afford the groceries. I can't afford your gas. It's bad inflation.
Love it.
Across the day. Hey, 81 million votes my ass. Failed to build back better. Your middle finger to middle class.
They've pissed off an already pissed off woman.
81 million votes my ass.
That's unbelievable. And who actually... Okay, keep going. You can play some more. Not in a hurry.
We're living on planet crazy.
Got a laptop full of China, hookers and blows and crack, and the diary's got Creepy Joe in the shower. 81 million votes my ass.
Creepy Joe in the shower. 81 million votes.
81 million votes my ass. While Kamala tosses word salads that even cringe the Democrats. Waiting in the wings is a thing called Hillary. 81 million votes my ass.
Outstanding. Do we know who actually sings it?
No idea. I just went onto YouTube and typed in 81 million votes my ass.
I'll be darned. And it's the Carrie Lake, who's the woman who ran for governor in Arizona.
And then I got to thinking, maybe that's not funny.
You can turn it up.
Oh my gosh, help, help. And I just want you all to know I'm in perfect health. We've recently had our automobile serviced and the tires are good and the brakes are in good order and I am not suicidal.
I guess they tried to kill her. Oh, man. I'm freaking loving this. You're going to hear this some more later on here with the Kimmer and Pete and Flounder. 404-741-1230, 345 on 106.3. Look out.
Just despicable.
Look out. Billy Joel was on to state in 1980 that Billy Joel started a 6-week run at number 1 with Glass Houses, his second U.S. number 1 album, including It's Still Rock and Roll to Me. Yeah, the music, yeah. Our birthday list includes Yasmin Bleeth. Have you ever watched Baywatch? Actually, I never saw Bay. I know what it was, but I never actually watched it. She played a girl named Carolyn Holden on Baywatch. Yasmin Bleeth is 55 years old today. Pete Davis joining. Hello, Pete. How's it going? What's new up there, sir?
I'm just watching my groundhog stand out in the rain like an idiot.
Oh, it's pouring up there, is it? We got kind of sprinkly down here, I think, probably. Yeah, so you have your own groundhog. Yeah, groundhog. You have your own snake. Don't you have a turtle?
I have a turtle. As of yesterday, I had a turtle and I had a dinosaur. You know those huge sand crane birds that are like 5 feet tall?
Yeah.
It was down here by the stream, and I swear it looked like a damn dinosaur.
I've never seen a sand crane in Georgia. When I was retired down to Florida, in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, at PGA National, you can't play golf in South Florida without 50 sand cranes, coming at you, and they go, ran, ran, and they put the big wing, and they're like literally 4 or 5 feet tall, and they take over parking lots, and they attack you if you go. I mean, they're miserable, nasty freaking birds, and they're all over. Huh?
What noise do they make?
Like that's horrible. Scared me myself. It may not be the actual noise. Once again, I don't have the lip muscle power. I can't even whistle anymore. But I can't even whistle. I still can't believe I can't whistle. I'm going to try again. Oh, I did. Oh, my God. Well, that's as good as I can get.
Well, you're working, so you can whistle while you work.
Whistle while I work. On this day, the birth of the United States Army. Semper Fi there, Dogface, 1775. The Continental Congress appointed George Washington as commander-in-chief on this day in 1775. And on the same day, exactly 2 years later, the Congress in Philadelphia adopted the Stars and Stripes as the official American flag. Kind of cool. All right, here's a number, 404-741-1230, 404-741-1230. I know you don't like to make phone calls. Our afternoon crowd has been doing this, for years and years, just listening, which is fine, but we do encourage phone calls. Love to hear from you about anything that's going on. It's on your mind. It's an open talk show. This is what we do. We do a lot of politics, and we're talking a lot about Trump today. And also the Al Jazeera Constitution, not one single word about the Burisma bribery in Biden, not one single word about the testimony in Congress, not one single word about Ted Cruz trying to get the people to open up about hiding the evidence by the Federal Gestapo of Investigation, the FGI. Not one single word. A newspaper supposed to print the news for the community to know what's going on in the world. What a disgrace. There's no possible explanation for some editor at the Al Jazeera Constipation to be saying, well, we just, this isn't news, really. We're going to censor this because we don't think it's news. Are you telling me that there's a newsman in the world who doesn't think it's news when there's documents showing that the president of the United States was taking bribes and that his son was taking bribes and changing policy to take money? And you don't think that's news?
It's even worse. Basically, you have a president, an ex-president, has just been arrested.
Yeah.
And that ex-president is making some comments in public about it.
Yeah.
And both Jake Tapper on CNN and Rachel Maddow, who both of them spread the Russia hoax thing for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
Both of them saying, we're not going to play that. Take that off the air. All sanctimonious, because that's going to ruin our news integrity.
All right.
What news integrity?
I remember years.
In fact, let's do this, Flounder. Let's play another Donald Trump soundbite here, and then you'll hear from Rachel. And we'll talk and see if you can't possibly understand how any news person in the world could not think that this was
That's
an example.
the definition of news.
Yeah, of what's going on. Here's the first Donald Trump.
An act for a crime so heinous that only the death penalty would do, and threatening me with 400 years in prison for possessing my own presidential papers, which just about every other president has done.
Former President Trump promises to appoint a special prosecutor to look into the Biden crime family if he is reelected. Now, Rachel Maddow, what a disgrace. She pretends that she's a news anchor person. She's not a news person. She's a commentator. After Donald Trump was speaking Tuesday night, Rachel Maddow explained to viewers why the network was not carrying the speech. In fact, here's words from Rachel Maddow on why they censor one of the most important events in American history.
So far, he's just giving his normal list of grievances. We don't consider that necessarily newsworthy, and there's a cost to us as a news organization of knowingly broadcasting untrue things. So our deal with you is that we will monitor these remarks. If he does say anything newsworthy, we will turn them around and report on that right away. But for now, just know that it's happening, and we're not taking it.
We're not taking it?
I'm flabbergasted. I mean,
that's a president speaking about him being arrested. That's the definition of news.
Yeah. Well, not only that, as a news person, no matter, in fact, especially in the case of a president saying something really stupid or provocative or ridiculous or outrageous or funny or whatever, anything the president says is the president of the United States. The presidents are news. What they're saying about the world is news. I mean, that's as big as it gets.
If it was Biden had just been arrested and he is giving public statements about it, I would want to hear that too because it's news.
If President Showers with daughter had been indicted and then arrested, I mean, you think the newspaper would maybe make a mention of that? It's unbelievable. Oh my God, they're
censoring us.
They're taking it. They are so proud of themselves for thinking that they know what's best for you. There's no other possible explanation than for Rachel Maddow to be saying to herself, well, I don't really think they need to hear this. This isn't something you really need to know. I'm doing this for your benefit. I really, trust me on this. This is not good. You're going to hear lies and badness, and it's just, we're going to try to save you. We're going to try to save you from something we don't want you to hear. They ought to be in prison. They're violating the Constitution.
Elitists. That's what they are.
And again, I'm not making this up. The media coverage, ABC, NBC, CBS, the coverage of Donald Trump's indictments, 291 minutes. The same coverage of the Burisma bribe and the Biden crime family, 0 seconds. Not 1 second. Al Jazeera constipation, not one word about the Biden.
What did she say at the end? What did she say at the end? She says, we're not going to take it. Who are you not to take it? Pass it through. You're the gatekeeper. You're supposed to let it through so we can listen to it. And we can make up our own minds. It's not up to you. Well, we don't like this, so we're not going to let you hear it.
Yeah. She says Trump is not going to get a free pass to vent unfiltered on MSNBC. We know what's happening. You know what's happening. We're not taking it. My God! I mean, how is it? There used to be journalism organizations. I can't remember all the names now because it's been so long since they had any significance at all. But there used to be standards. There used to be, requirements for being in journalism and news broadcasting and media. And now it's gone. There's no Second Amendment.
If President Trump had been calling for certain groups of people to be taken out and shot and something like that, okay, then you're the gatekeeper and say, okay, we don't need to hear that stuff. Like he's calling for violence. He wasn't doing any of that. He was just commenting.
Right. And by the way, you're going to hear Tucker Carlson. He made another commentary. Oh, and by the way, Fox News has now sent Tucker Carlson a cease and desist letter. They got to be going nuts, putting a new host, different host every night or week for the 8 o'clock hour that's gone down 80% in the numbers or something, apparently. Anyway, you'll hear from Tucker coming up here very shortly. Also, after Donald Trump was arrested, he went to a bakery in Miami, and he was talking to the people, and the people standing around, and there was an international affairs reporter for Sky News who went up to Trump and said, Trump, are you ready to go to jail, President Trump? And people started booing her, and then somebody said, get out of here, you stupid bitch, and called her names, and so she said, I was thrown out of the Versailles bakery in Miami for asking President Trump if he was ready to go to jail. And a man screamed in my face and said I was a traitor. I got out safely. I couldn't believe it. They were going to kill me. They were going to find out if I was going to be killed by asking those Trump MAGA people, the most dangerous people in America. Yeah. You know, I want to slap her in the face. No, I would be wrong. Would be wrong. Oh, I want to. It's almost 4 o'clock. Look out! Coming back. Stand by. Obviously, security goes through there, so one of the parking lots at the ballpark, and noticed my lights were on. I don't know why the car didn't beep. No, so anyway, and so they looked up the number, called. How did you find out?
It was Danny.
Oh, Danny saw my...
Yeah, Danny was going out to the parking lot, going to a meeting, and he saw your car that the lights were on, and he called me.
Oh, my God. Well, Danny... I
think he's out on a meeting.
Oh, well, Danny, if you're listening, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I thought maybe the security guard found out. Oh, well, even better. Anyway, so I talked to you. This is Led Zeppelin. Wait a little Led here. Here we go. It's an instrumental version of the thing there. 1977... Led Zeppelin played the last of the 6 sold-out nights at Madison Square Garden. They played, the song remains the same. Since I've Been Loving You, No Quarter, 10 Years Gone, Stairway to Heaven, which I guess was their real #1 monster hit, Whole Lot of Love, Rock and Roll, and When the Levee Breaks. Led Zeppelin, 1977, selling out Madison Square Garden. Anyway, okay, it's only me. It's only the camera to the show. Continue. 404. Nice to have you with us again. Oops, Daisy, what happened there? Something had, hold on. Now, Flounder told me how to hit my computer screen. Just went to an OBS Studio 29.1. So I'm going to hit that. There we go. Now I got that. I did it. I can't believe it. I did it. I hit the right thing, and I went back to the call screener thing. Wow, cool. All right, hold on. This is Alan, I think. Alan is on with the show. Alan, welcome aboard. Thanks for calling. What do you think, sir? What's up?
And thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to weigh in on Pence and his refusal to say that he would pardon Trump.
Yeah.
And I've got a question for Mike Pence. Why should I pardon him? He had documents that were in his home.
Pence,
should I wait for a trial for him before I clear him and have any judgments? I mean, why should I, as a voter, let him off the hook? That's number one. Number two, just to think out loud here, and I don't know, could his cooperation, if you will, I'm not going to pardon Trump, could that have anything to do with maybe a little agreement that, hey, if I cooperate with you guys and sort of inflict some damage on Trump for January 6th, you guys will let me off the hook for these records? Just a thought.
I don't think
a little bit of this for that?
Well, I don't know. An excellent question. My initial reaction as you just said that was I don't think Pence is that kind of guy. I don't think Pence would make, well, I don't know. I think what I believe about Pence is I don't think he would make a deal about anything for anything or anybody. I mean, here's a guy who won't go out and be seen with another woman unless his wife is near him. So, you know what I mean? So I think he's such a goody two-shoes, which is nice and it's good, that I think that's why he'll never be president. And I also think he would never try to make a deal. But again, and the problem is, and I think you're right, Alan, as far as I'm concerned, Mike Pence, after all we know, again, nothing's a secret. We know the FGI and the DOJ and everybody's been out to get Trump for 7 years now. We know that they've conspired to do it. They blocked everything. It was all this setup. This all political. No one else has ever been charged. So obviously we know the facts are clear that this is a witch hunt to get Donald Trump, to stop him from being able to run for president again, but they're never going to make it because of timing. But anyway, we know what they're doing. We know we've seen what's happening. Hell, we've had the Russian collusion thing. We've had the 2 different reports of the inspector generals and stuff. We know all this stuff. There's no explanation for anything other than this being a political hatchet job to get Donald Trump. The Democrats admit it. Our goal is to get Donald Trump. Therefore, any Republican who wants to be president of this country has to automatically realize this is wrong. In fact, it would be wrong if they had gone after a Democrat this way. If they had tried to make up stuff about Bill Clinton when they impeached him. But they didn't have to make up anything about Bill Clinton. He was guilty. But even if they had made it all up, if there was no Monica Lewinsky, if they faked it, if they said it was an AI fake Monica Lewinsky doing the hingity hongada bingity bongada, they could have, if they faked it all, I would still say it's wrong. You can't politically go get somebody to help the other political party in America. For federal jurisdiction with a DOJ, the presidency, you've got to be kidding me. It's wrong on every level. Any Republican candidate should be saying, if I am elected, Donald Trump is getting a pardon, and as far as I'm concerned, so is Mike Flynn or anybody else who needs one, involved in all that whole phony leftist liberal hate America, go get Donald Trump campaign. All of them get a pardon. Anyway.
You want to hear something?
Alan, thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. Yes, sir, I do.
They're going to jump ahead. I was going to do this in Pete's tweets, but we'll do it now since you're talking
about it. Let's do Pete's. We can do Pete's tweets.
No, just
all
one.
All right, we'll do one thing. We'll do it later. Okay, go ahead.
James Woods tweets, Every day I marvel not only on the intelligence of our founding fathers, but their almost supernatural prescience where John Adams is talking about the malaise befouling our great nation. He could be talking about what's going on today. Here's what Adams said. There is nothing which I dread so much as a division of the Republic into 2 great parties, each arranged under its leader and concerting measures in opposition to each other. This, in my humble apprehension, is to be dreaded as the greatest political evil under our Constitution.
Well, when you start dividing and get cementing yourself into positions that can't be changed, and you're just you're turning enemies into enemies, that's not Thomas. If I'm not mistaken, Thomas Jefferson's theory was the more information you have, the better opportunity you have to make a decision that's best for you and the country and everything else. The more you know, the more information you have. Don't hide stuff. Let's find out what's going on. Get the truth. The more you have, the better you are able to become a citizen and make decisions based on what's best for you and your country. And now that's not true at all. Division, hatred, censorship, hiding. The FBI, redacting evidence to show collusion with bribery in foreign countries, and they're hiding it. The FBI. My God, that's just the exact opposite of what this country was. This country was founded for the freedom to escape the tyranny of a king and the religious persecution. For the freedom of it. I mean, it's just unbelievable. God, Fortet. All right, hold everything. Again, if you want, we'd love to have your phone calls. 404-741-1230. Also, if you have a Father's Day tip, how to make Father's Day a better day. If you don't know what to do, or something that worked for you, I love to give advice for folks for the weekend before it's too late. It's only Wednesday. You got plenty of time. Okay, now, Tucker Carlson. I think this is presentation number 3 since he left Fox News, and Fox News has now sent him a cease and desist letter over his Twitter series. The contract battle continues. Obviously, he had some kind of a no-compete clause, and he's going to say that he has the right to do a free speech on Twitter, which isn't the same as a broadcast entity, I guess. Anyway, he's kicked off a Tucker on Twitter series, and I think this is episode 3. Flounder will play a little something from Tucker here. Oh, did I mess you up?
Trump is the one guy with an actual shot at becoming president who dissents from Washington's long-standing pointless war agenda. And for that one fact, they're trying to take Trump out before you can vote for him. And that should upset you more than anything that's happened in American politics in your lifetime. Even if you don't plan to vote for Donald Trump, even if you would die before voting for Donald Trump, which is your right, and a lot of good people feel that way, even still, the destruction of our democracy, which is the right of voters to support any candidate they want, even candidates who don't want war with Russia. The destruction of that should keep you up at night. Yes, Donald Trump is a flawed man, but his sins are minor compared to those of his persecutors. In this life, we don't get to choose our martyrs. We can only choose our principles, and America's are at stake.
Tucker Carlson. And do we have a count on how many million? The first night was like 80 million. Second one was, I think, 60 million.
Last night it had like 23 million, and it had just dropped. So
okay. Well, again, obviously, it's probably going to do that for a while. And again, I wonder. Do we know how long he's going to? Has he got a contract? Do we know? Is this like a 3-year deal, or do we have any idea?
With Twitter? No, I mean, with Twitter, he can do whatever he wants. He's signed up and got a blue check mark. So,
but I assume he doesn't. I assume he can leave whenever he wants to do whatever he wants.
Yeah. Well, obviously, he's still under some kind of NDA with Fox, like you were saying. Yeah. But the latest video has 67 million downloads.
Wow. He also complains about Mike Pence, speaking of Nikki Haley and Mike Pompeo. He says it was only after Trump lost the presidential election 2020 was removed from power then the likes of Pence, Haley, Pompeo, and Lindsey Graham revealed their neocon war agenda. They're now challenging Trump for the presidential nomination. Both have extremely guarded in their criticism. Pompeo more direct, handling of classified documents. Well, anyway, so some more from Tucker, and which is good. Here's the number. It's 404-741-1230. 404-741-1230. Hold on. Coming up, we'll talk about the VA. We'll talk about the podium princess, Regine Frechine, arguing with a reporter. And we got a whole bunch of stuff on trannies and wokeness, and a 9-year-old girl attacked for looking like a boy. The school that fought back on Pride Week. It's all coming up. Plus, holy crap, it's sports, Pete's tweets, and Skynet standing by at 106.3. Here we go. Look out.
And she didn't get indicted. Joe Biden broke the law, and in many other ways we're finding out, and so far has not gotten indicted. I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Everything right. They indicted me. I get the biggest kick when he does that voice. You gotta love it. Donald Trump, 77 years old today. It's Flag Day and also the birthday of the United States Army. And this is this Boy George here? Okay.
No.
Who's this again now?
The Doors.
The Doors, of course. I got it right here, yeah. The Doors, on this day in 1960... I hate the Doors. I hate the Doors. I'm sorry. I've never liked them, and I never will.
Jim
but
Morrison
you can
and the Doors.
What? 1967, the Doors appeared at Steve Paul's scene in New York City. Jimi Hendrix was in the audience to see the show and clearly died not long after watching the show. The Doors, 1967. There you go. Let's see. A birthday of note, Steffi Graf. Former tennis star is 54 today. In 1993, when Monica Seles got stabbed during the match, the guy who stabbed her did it because he was obsessed with Steffi Graf. He thought taking out Monica Seles would help her. Steffi Graf, 54. She married that other American tennis guy.
Andre Agassi.
Are they still married?
Yeah.
Are they?
So,
well,
yeah.
Good for them, because that was like, it's been like 30 years. Good for her. Good for them. It must be nice to be married for a long time or someone who think you love her, and then you find out 30 years, so it's just one big freaking regret. And that, sorry, no, here we are on the radio again. 404, sometimes I have a little thing. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Let me go ahead and make that note there and there. Oh,
I did everything right, and they indicted me.
She's still divorced.
It's a perfect phone call. I love it. Anyway, on this day in history, in 1943, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled in a West Virginia case that school children, 1943, cannot be forced to salute the American flag. It was only later when the Supreme Court ruled that you don't have to stand and put your hand over your heart or even say it or acknowledge it in any way. But in 43, they were forcing people to salute it, and now they said, no, you don't have to salute, but you have to pay attention until later.
Now you have to get down on your knees for the pride flag in elementary school.
Exactly. And by the way, Paul, but we should play the Paul Harvey bit one day when, the ways, if you were going to be the devil and take over America, what are the things you would do? Well, you'd start in the schools. No more Pledge of Allegiance, no more prayer. I mean, he goes and boom, 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 a whole list of things. And by God, here we are. Yep. I mean, he named them. Anyway, 43, no saluting the flag required. And on the same day in 1954, it was President Eisenhower, Ike, who signed a bill to add under God to the pledge. And remember, should I tell my under God story?
Why not?
Okay. Back when, many years ago in the 90s, we're on the radio, and I was on I was going to take a vacation on 4th of July, and the people at Lenox Square had, as you know, maybe they still do it. I don't know. This back 30 years ago. Lenox Square always used to have a huge 4th of July fireworks display, and the whole town, it was just enormous, and they shot fireworks you can see them everywhere. And as part of the celebration, this is back when I was actually sort of popular. Anyway. And they actually asked me to record a TV version, a video version of the Pledge of Allegiance to play at the 4th of July celebration at Lenox Square. I thought, holy smokes, what an honor. I mean, me? So so they brought a camera crew into a studio one day right before the 4th of July, and I said, and I remember doing a bit, and I said, we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance the old-fashioned way, and by that I mean the way it's supposed to be done. And I told the story of how as a third grader, our teacher made us pause before we got to the words under God. So one nation, pause, under God. Most people say one nation under God, and she thought, no, if you separate it, it really points out to the fact that this is now an important phrase. So when we always had a school assembly, and 15 different classrooms would all show up, and we used to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody else, they would go like this: play one nation under God, because we would pause to do the under God later. Anyway, so when I did the Pledge of Allegiance on TV, on video for the Lenox Square, I got to the point, and I said, we're going to do it the old-fashioned way, the way it ought to be done, the way it was meant to be done, the way it's in the law right now. And I said, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. God bless America, Semper Fi, and sign, and boom. Okay, I go on vacation, I come back, and I asked somebody at the radio station, how did it go on the 4th of July? Is everything okay? And the program director said, they didn't play it. I said, what do you mean they didn't play it? He said, well, it was, you made such a big deal about under God that they thought it was too, offensive, and it was too, I thought, oh my God, you've got to be kidding me. They censored the Pledge of Allegiance on the 4th of July at Lenox Square because I was offensive by pointing out under God. I couldn't believe it. Anyway, life, it's just what's happening. That was in like 95 or 6, probably 98, maybe 2000, but it was a long time. It was 25 years ago at least.
1930, 32.
25. Hike. Okay. By the way, a million things coming up here, including a lot more sound, which you're going to hear in a second. We have a whole bunch of stories, which are, honestly, and when I was putting this all together this morning and talking to Pete, it hit me that I've got like 8 or 9 or 10 significant stories, all concerning gender, transitioning, trannies, the way the press handles it, wokeness, lesbian definition. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just like pouring out everywhere. At the podium, the podium princess, Shirley Temple, Razine Facine Trachin, she's black, she's gay, she's a girl. All 3 check marks. That's why she got the job. Well, she was under fire yesterday when White House correspondent Owen Jensen talked to Jean-Vin Dedin about concerns of parents worried that their female athletes who are competing with boys might not be in a fair position, and it might actually result to somebody getting hurt. Here's how the conversation went with the podium princess, the Shirley Temple. So did I mess you up here, Founder? I think I messed up, Flounder. Sorry, I thought you were ready to go with it.
Say to parents out there who have daughters, let's say in high school, for example, who are worried that their daughter may have to compete against a male, a person born male, and there could be directly in physical athletic competition and worry about their daughter's safety.
So look, what you're alluding to is basically saying that transgender kids are dangerous. It sounds like that's what you're saying. Well, you're saying that their safety is at risk. Yeah, but you're laying out a broad example or explanation of what could potentially happen. A broad example explanation. That is dangerous. That is a dangerous thing to say. That essentially transgender kids we're talking about are dangerous, and so that's something that I have to call out, and that is irresponsible. I had just laid out how complicated this issue is. I had just laid out why it's complicated, and so anything that you have any additional questions, I refer you to the Department of Education. I'm going to move on. I know there are other people. Go ahead, Tam.
He said, well, I didn't say that. I never said anything about them being dangerous, although they are, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But can you imagine the nerve on this woman? The nerve on this woman to say, well, I've explained everything. No, you didn't. All you said was, you're saying it's dangerous, I'm not going to talk to you about it. You didn't explain anything, which is typical with you, you lying, stinking little skank. You incompetent boob. God, this is the most disgraceful public servant who addresses the public on a daily basis or regular basis an administration's ever had in this country. Remember Ron Ziegler with Nixon? Ziegler at least had to try to dodge around stuff because he knew the president was, getting him all kinds of trouble. But, this is ridiculous.
Ziegler knew that the other press would defend the other reporter.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to defend that reporter.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And by the way, for the record, all he said was, I didn't say I was talking about a safety issue. Let's recall, North Carolina high school volleyball player Peyton McNabb, a girl, suffered a concussion and a neck injury when she was spiked in the face by a transgender boy who wanted to be a girl, who smacked the volleyball so freaking hard into her neck that it gave her a concussion and a neck injury. Because he's a freaking boy and he smacked it harder than a girl would right in her face. They are dangerous.
Some of them.
Some of them. All right, not all of them. Maybe
Have you seen the video? Have you seen the video of that?
Bam! Yeah. And he did it to show that he's a tough boy girl. He did it to show, well, I'm a girl, but I'm still tougher than you are. Which proves that he still thinks he's a boy. He was showing his masculine tendencies. He was showing his toxic masculinity as pretending to be a girl. Well, there's no such thing. By the way, the Save Women, do you remember this in the current Congress? The bill called Save Women's Sports. It was supposed to make sure that transgender women, that fake girls, can't play girl sports if they're really boys. The bill passed in the House. You know how many Democrats voted to save women's sports to make sure that only girls play against girls? How many Democrats voted for it? Zero. Not one. 429. News coming up. Sometime we'll get stuff here. Look out, coming home. Hey, ho. Protect your assets with Atlanta Safe House. I've gotten a couple of safes from Atlanta Safe House for good reason. They have the top brands, largest Browning safe dealer in the whole Southeast. Fort Knox, I got American Security Safe. I think that's one I got for Wayne. No offense, my former producer. Anyway, keeping your stuff. Not only, jewelry and business stuff and high security things, your guns, special gun safe month right now going on. A vault door. Ask about the Big Red Safe. You need to protect your stuff. Protect your assets. AtlantaSafeHouse.com. All right, now who's this singing here?
Bowie.
David Bowie, of course, yes. The Manish Boys in 1964. My God, has he been around that long?
He's considered one of the most influential artists of all time.
I know that's true, and I don't know why, because I never liked any of his stuff. But again, I'm sorry, I don't like him at all. I would listen to him if I had two guys to listen to. One of them was him. I would never hear his songs. I don't like it. But again, 1964, he was in the Manish Boys, auditioning for a British TV show called Opportunity Knocks. David Bowie in 1964. Wasn't he big in the 80s?
He wasn't big until later in late 60s, early 70s that he got big. I think it was early 70s for him. He really
was it? I thought it was 8. Well, see, again, I don't even know.
He was big he had a comeback in the 80s with what was it? The one he did was Stevie Ray Vaughan as his guitarist. And it was the dance one where they're dancing in the video.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I know a couple of things about him, but I've never listened to his music because I really don't like it. Sorry.
Let's dance.
Let's dance. Oh yeah, let's dance. Let's dance. It's like almost one of those little German versions of the step dance. That kind of a thing. Yeah.
No, not at all.
Can you play that for him?
Yeah, give me 1 second while the ad plays. I don't want to play that on there.
All right, we're going to find it for you on YouTube or something.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Stand by. It's horrible. No. He's yelling.
Yeah. You don't want to listen to any man who yells.
He's yelling. I'm sorry. It's not singing. Oh, mercy. All right, hold on. We got a whole bunch more to talk about this business with Regime Basheen Tatween, the Surly Temple, and accusations of a 9-year-old girl being a boy and faking it. And Riley Gaines is in the news. The kids in Vermont are finally turning their backs on stupidness, all that stuff. Let's get to the phones. 404-741-1230. If you want to call, we'd love to have your phone calls. Talk about anything that's on your mind. Here is Swatoom is back with us today. Hello, Swatoom. What's up?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I have two things. That guy who actually showed his breasts on the TV.
Yeah, the fake girl. Yeah, on the White House.
Yeah, that's such a guy thing to do. I mean, no woman would do it.
No.
It was just pretty much... The only guy would do something like that.
Well, unless they're at a Rolling Stones concert, and then that's a little different.
Yeah, that's a different story.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and the second stuff is, I would love to one of those reporters to ask Jean-Luc, whatever her name is, the White House lady.
Yeah.
I would love the reporter to ask her, would she date transgender women?
Well, she is a proud gay lesbian woman, and so I wonder.
Will she date one transgender woman? That's the question.
A great question. And by the way, would it make a difference? I wonder, Shatum, would it make a difference if would a lesbian have a difference of opinion dating a tranny who still has male junk, or would it make a difference if she was dating a tranny who had a guy who had his junk removed and was a tranny without the junk? Does that make a difference to a lesbian? I wonder. I don't know. I'm curious.
Well, I don't know if you guys heard about some dating website removing lesbians who refuse to date transgender men.
Yeah.
I mean, women.
I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, thanks, Swatoom. I appreciate it, man. All right, man. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Riley Gaines is getting in now. Riley Gaines, I'm really impressed with this young lady. She's taken the bull by the horns on this. Riley Gaines is the former NCAA standout swimmer from Kentucky, and she is now at the Independent Women's Voice Advisor, and she's part of a group now after she started speaking out. She was one of the rare swimmers back when they had the boy swimmer thinking he was a girl, and she said, no, this is wrong, and she stood out, and so now she's a part of the Independent Women's Voice, and she is taking issue with Regine Tatine, Shirley Temple, the podium princess, about what she said you heard just a minute ago, saying that if you're talking about transgender safety, whether there are some issues of whether boys being stronger than girls put the girls at risk playing sports where boys are pretending to be girls. And Regine Tatine, the Shirley Temple said, well, you're saying that transgender people are dangerous, and that's wrong. We aren't going to talk about that. They're not dangerous, da-da-da-da-da. Well, Riley Gaines says this. When they say inclusion, just know they really mean exclusion. This message this sends to all women is that our safety doesn't matter, nor does our privacy, our fairness, our equal opportunities, or our dignity. This misogyny is slapping us across the face, unquote. Riley's among those leading the charge to keep transgender girls and women, the fake girls, out of girls' sports in the name of fairness and equality. She was part of the unveiling of the Republican Women's Bill of Rights. The bill would define the word woman in federal law. And so you have to define the word woman in federal law to bolster other bills like the recently passed Protection of Women and Girls Act I just mentioned here a moment ago. Biden, of course, is going to veto any bill that comes across his desk like that. But here's why that could be important. And again, you're going to hear about how this affects a 9-year-old girl. Riley Gaines saying that now they have to define the word woman in federal law and legal legislation. Riley Gaines reacting, check this out. Johns Hopkins University. I'll bet everybody in the world has heard of Johns Hopkins University. The first thing you might think was, well, it's a very famous hospital, and probably one of the most prestigious medical centers and research places in the world. I mean, we all, very highly.
It was known as Hopkins, and then John bought it, so now it's John.
Well, it's Johns Hopkins. It's like Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Same damn thing. In fact, I think the same guy owns both.
John.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Johns Hopkins University. Guess what they've done now? Johns Hopkins University has released a glossary of terms and has updated the definition of a lesbian. A lesbian is now, quote, a non-man attracted to a non-man. I swear to God. They will not use the word woman. They will not use the word a woman who is attracted to another woman.
What did we say Monday to the gay man who called up? Yeah. They're trying to get rid of you.
They're erasing women. They are erasing women.
Lesbians.
They cite a glossary entry featuring gay man does not use the similar language non-woman. Man, no definition needed. Non-man, formerly woman, is now definable only by reference to a man. As an absence, a vacuum where there is no manness. Okay, let me define this again. Man, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. Man, being definable only by reference to the male. Man, an absence of vacuum where there's no manness. Johns Hopkins strives to create a campus culture that is inclusive and welcoming for all gender identities, sexual orientations, experiences, and viewpoints. A place where LGBTQ people feel supported. It's an introduction to the range of identities and terms that are used within the community of LGBT alphabet people, not intended to serve as a definitive answer to how all people understand. Well, guess what? Becoming aware of the language in question, we have now removed the page from our website while we gather more information. I mean, what more information do you really need? Either you got a ding-dong or you don't. I mean, my God, a non-man attracted to a non-man. Ladies, females, non-men people, is nobody upset by this? And again,
they're afraid.
I don't know. I haven't heard a single woman complain about this kind of thing.
They're afraid of being
Riley
called
Gaines.
a name.
Is there a lady listening right now, a female listening right now, who maybe either agrees with this or doesn't? I'd love to hear from you. I really don't get it. I think one of the problems politically and also about what's happening with this whole business of gender and the trannies and stuff like that is the American women are being silent. They either don't care or they agree. I can't believe they agree with the way we're going, whether this is happening. I can't believe that.
No, they're afraid of losing their job and losing their career if they're on the wrong side of this. And the media gets hold of it.
I guess. But what? How you can't live that way? You're an American woman. Come on. Whatever happened to Helen Reddy? What was the thing there with a song? I'm woman there. I'll roar for you, baby, or something like that. Anyway, I don't get it.
Oh, wait, yeah, I got it. I am woman, hear me, bitch. buy my records, make me rich.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, appreciate the way you're really supporting women's basketball, too, by the way. The crowd of 9, I think, was incredible. They all got personal autographs. Anyway, I just don't believe this stuff. I can't freaking believe it. And now, here's another thing that's happening here, too. This happened in Canada. There was a sporting event at a middle school near the Canadian border, near the state of Washington. And a woman who is married to another woman, actually was married, has her ex-wife. So 2 females who are no longer married, and their daughter showed up at a 4th grade girls sporting event at their elementary school or middle school, whatever it was. 4th graders elementary school, okay? And it was a sporting event, and there were people taking turns throwing the shot put. One of the old men in the crowd interrupted, standing in front of the little girls, a girls event. One little girl with short hair, the grandfatherly type guy, pointed at the little girl, and the woman says, "She's pointing at my daughter," and another girl with short hair, and said, quote, "Why are you letting boys throw the shot put?" When the woman pounced forward to defend her child, saying, "My daughter is a girl," the guy said, "Oh, yeah, a girl." And he did finger quotes and said, "Yeah, a girl." He said, "If they're not boys, they're trannies." And that's when the guy's wife joined in, attacking the woman and her ex-wife and the child. So the old man and his wife start screaming that they're then the 2 women started screaming that my ex-wife and I were genital mutilators. They called us pedophiles, groomers, demanded certificates confirming my daughter was born a female. Other parents started screaming at the guy to shut up and leave. He refused to do it. They're all going nuts. And the 9-year-old girl saying, "I'm just standing here. I'm a 9-year-old girl. I want to be in a sporting event, and all this is going around me." I mean, oh, man, we got more coming up. It's 4:45 already. I can't believe it. Pete Sports, holy crap, we got Skynet and tweets and more coming up with the Kivver and Pete and Flounder on 106.3. Here we go. I wonder how they made that sound. Is that a guitar doing that? Look out. Yeah, baby. 1964, the Beatles toured Australia and arrived in Melbourne, were greeted at the airport by more than 5,000 fans, but another 20,000 lined the route from the airport to the hotel. Army and Navy troops were brought in to control the crowds. Cars were crushed. Hundreds of girls fainted. 50 people were taken to the hospital with broken bones just to say hi to the Beatles in Australia in 1964.
A couple things about that.
Yeah.
First of all, Ringo was sick, so he didn't make the first leg of the trip. So one lucky guy, they flew him in from England, Liverpool, I think, and played drums for the Beatles. He was a Beatle for a week, and then they flew him back home.
Oh, man. I'd like to be the Beatle for a week.
And I read something recently, this Come Together song.
Yeah.
John Lennon wrote it for Timothy Leary.
Oh, really?
The LSD
Timothy Leary? About Timothy Leary, you mean? Or?
No. They were drinking and taking acid with Timothy Leary, and Leary said, I'm running against Reagan for the governorship of California.
Oh,
and can you write me a song? So Lennon wrote part of this song for him. Timothy Leary goes back to California, gets arrested for marijuana.
Right, yeah.
He's thrown in jail, and Reagan, as governor, refused to let him out until after the election.
The LSD freak.
And so he's in jail a few months later, and he hears this song over the radio, and he writes Lennon a letter going, wait a minute, this was my song. And Lennon wrote him back and said, look, I'm like a tailor. If you leave a suit for me to clean or mend, and you never come pick it up, I use it for something else.
Also, I don't know if you've heard they're going to do a new Beatles album. Apparently,
we're going to don't get ahead of us, Pete. Are you going to do that for your Skynet section?
No, you go ahead and do it.
Well, I threw it. Well, I don't.
You know what? You know what? I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay.
Paul McCartney, who's 80 years old, says they're putting together this. This was a song that John started called Now and Then. So he's got his voice on it. AI has taken the voice out of there because they're doing it much better than they could do back in the 90s when they did the anthology and Free Bird.
Right.
Not Free Bird, but Free as a Bird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they can do it better now. And they've got George Harrison's voice, so they can blend that in too. And, of course, he and Ringo are still alive to help out. And they're going to do a song, and maybe the Now and Then song, I don't know exactly what. And AI has put together a Beatles song. And Paul goes, I don't know really how this is going to work, but this is how the future's going. So.
Well, I'll be damned. Well, that's pretty cool. Anyway, interesting history lesson. And again, now artificial intelligence. We'll have a Skynet update, more stuff here.
Well, that could have been it right there.
That could have been it. Right. Could have had the whole thing right there. Geez, I got so much. Let me get back to the phones. I want to get back to more of this woke business. Wait to hear about an actor who's complaining about a role he did for himself. First to the phones, it's Sydney on 106.3. Hello, Sydney. Welcome aboard. How you doing?
Hey, Kimmer, how are you?
Well, I'm doing.
Tax lady.
Hey, baby, how's it going? Cindy. I said Sydney. Cindy, how you doing, baby?
Yes. Look, I just wanted to say the women today are a bunch of lazy, just don't care. They scream when it doesn't go their way, and they do nothing to fix it. And I'm tired of it. I'm a real woman. You call me the B word, I'm going to thank you.
Yeah, well, but, again, I think there are a couple of different things. I think Peter's right in that there are a lot of women who I would think would be, if you were to find a woman who's, a real ball buster, an active, aggressive businesswoman, and she's, got active and da-da-da-da, maybe she's concerned about coming forward to be a public face of the issue of anti-wokeness, stuff like that, because she's afraid of her career and the community leadership and stuff like that. However, I think most of the time, women who are your basic woman doing, working or not working, whatever, it's just your average American woman today is either so tired or depressed or in a malaise or just overcome with daily stuff trying to get the kids to school and nobody wants to eat at the dinner table and where's this and there's just so much and there's so the negative and all the politics and they turn on the dinner. I wonder if there's just so much of this Jimmy Carter malaise going on that they just don't want to be bothered. But what's going on? I can't believe that the population of American women aren't screaming the way they did in the 70s when Gloria Steinem said, and burn your freaking bra. And today there are more issues than ever about they're erasing women, and nobody gives a damn.
Well, I give a damn, but where am I going to go? Many nights I go, I want to get on gut just so I can say something about all this.
Well, I think I
worked hard for raising my son by myself, working 3 jobs for years.
Yeah.
Never took anything, did what I had to do, didn't bitch about it, and I'm tired of hearing these people who don't want to get off their butts and do something complain.
Well, the only explanation I have is the 2 cases. One where you're afraid because it might help affect your career, kind of a deal, or your public face. But the other, I think women are just. I don't think they care. I think they're too busy with world.
They got to stop being afraid.
I know. Oh, I know. Cindy, thank you. I really appreciate it. Great to have you aboard. Again, if you want to call and react or anyway, again, I want to talk about Donald Trump. I want to talk about politics, talk about this wokeness, and we got more coming up. Also, I'm going to admit to you that I actually told a girl I was going to marry her. It's an incredible story coming up. But first, here's the number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Now, the reason I mentioned this 9-year-old girl case and the old man in Canada, 9-year-old girl and her 2 mommies, basically, they were divorced, but the 2 mommies of the 9-year-old girl at a school event, 4th grade. The old man complains that she looks like a boy, she must be a tranny, and everybody's got in a fight and screaming and yelling about The reason I mention it is because think about this for a moment. Or here's they call him a grandfather in Canada. I don't know how old he is. Let's say he's 70. Okay, let's say he's 70. I'll bet you that 5 years ago, this grandfather had never even heard the word tranny, or had never said the word tranny, or never seen it in print, or didn't hear it on the radio, or didn't hear it on television 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. This was not a thing. All of a sudden now you've got an old man who has been so keyed up by this issue of wokeness and gender and changing your kids' genders and stuff that he's so upset about it that he's now attacking a 9-year-old girl he's never seen before at a sporting event in Canada when 5 years ago, he wouldn't even have known what a tranny was. And yet this is Canada. I mean, the whole world is going nuts about stuff like this. And we're not even done by a long shot. In Burlington, Vermont, LGBT pride at Marshall Simmons Middle School, Burlington, Vermont, middle school kids. It was supposed to be a pride event to support LGBT alphabet people, and the kids were invited to wear rainbow clothing, celebration of Pride Month. There was a counter demonstration, unfortunately, what is supposed to be a day to celebrate, and so one woman who was chair of the Equity Coalition, a screaming liberal, a furry-legged hyphenated femme gal, said on the same day there was a counter demonstration in what should have been a day to celebrate. The students wore red, white. She's so mad. The students wore red, white, and blue clothing, and they chanted, "My pronouns are USA," and they destroyed the rainbow decorations at the school. They destroyed the rainbow, and they chanted, "USA are my pronouns."
Well,
you dirty bastard!
If those kids had torn down American flags and put pride flags up, we wouldn't have heard a word about this.
That's right.
But because they're on the wrong side of the protest, when BLM and Antifa burned down cities, we were told by our own mayor of Atlanta, these people need to vent. We need to back off and let them vent. Well, those kids needed to vent up there, and by God, I'm glad they did. In fact, one girl, 13-year-old girl, said, "Mom, I don't have anything against anybody up there, but I went in there and they told me there's no such thing as straight." They handed out quotations from Tennessee Williams that says there's nothing like straight. Everything's either curved or wiggly, but there's no such thing as straight. She goes, "Mom, I'm straight," and it offended me.
And even one step further. Now, much like Regine Tatrin, the Shirley Temple podium princess, saying if you talk about trannies, you're actually saying they're dangerous, so shame on you. After this happened, the coalition now is calling for consequences. 2 things. The coalition said they started chanting USA and just destroyed our event. The coalition of Everybody's Gay is now calling for consequences for the students who participated in the counter-protest, urging the district to fill a diversity, equity, and inclusion role, which has been vacant. They believe that without any direct and concrete action, the Coalition for These Freaks believes these incidents will occur and increase in severity. Good. I thought Burlington was safer than Texas or Florida. I guess I was wrong. They're afraid about violence from children because they're shoving us down our freaking throat. Well, guess what? You're asking for it. Shut up already. Mind your own stinking business. God, do I have to do everything? Oh, we got so much more coming up, including the girl at Publix. Oh, standing by. 5 o'clock, I hear, but I hope. call for burning the place down. That would be wrong.
Yes.
We cannot call for any, rioting action or, protest of any kind of violence. That would be wrong. It would be wrong, and I'm not suggesting it in any way. But we've got to stop this.
Stop going.
This is just unbelievable.
It says the exact charges will remain sealed.
Well, yeah, God forbid we should know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I can't. I'm a Marine.
Stop going to New York City. Stop.
Cut everything off in New York. Phone calls, if you're sending money to somebody, anything, buying products, if it's from New York, stop ordering it. If it comes out of New York State, stop it. Oh, this is disgusting and disgraceful. It's a freaking Marine who saved those people from a maniac. And I'll say it again. I mentioned it yesterday, and if you just joined us for the first time, in the Marine Corps Parris Island, they taught me and every other Marine how to kill a man with their bare hands in less than 2 seconds, and it never fails. It's always so successful, we had to practice it on our knees. Because if you did it for real, the guy'd be dead. If that Marine wanted to kill that guy, he'd have been dead in 4 seconds, in a second and a half. He saved the other people from a maniac who was out of control. He's a hero. Oh, God, I can't believe it. You dirty, stinking, lying, anti-American scumbags. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And they're keeping it secret.
They want you to be helpless. They want you to sit back and be helpless and take it. It doesn't matter what the criminal's doing. You have to take it.
Well, I'm not going to take it. This is, this is so bad. This is so wrong. You heard the interview. In fact, we should probably play that. We'll play it again maybe tomorrow or something, Flounder. If you still get the interview from the other day with a Marine. If you listen to this man and hear his voice of what happened, what he was thinking, what actually happened. He said, well, they said I was choking him for 20 minutes. He said, yeah, maybe like a minute off and on. Well, shall we play it now? It's like a minute long. Here's again the Marine. And you tell me after listening to this whether you think he's a freaking murderer.
The doors closed, and he ripped his jacket off and threw it at the people sitting down to my left. I was listening to music at the time, and he was yelling, so I took my headphones out to hear what he was yelling. The 3 main threats that he repeated over and over was, I'm going to kill you. I'm prepared to go to jail for life, and I'm willing to die. This was a scary situation, and Mr. Nearly came on. He was threatening. I'm 6'2", and he was taller than me. There's a common misconception that Marines don't get scared. We're actually taught one of our core values is courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but how you handle fear. I was scared for myself, but I looked around, I saw women and children. He was yelling in their faces, saying these threats. I couldn't just sit still. Some people say that I was holding on to Mr. Nearly for 15 minutes. This is not true. I mean, between stops is only a couple minutes. So the whole interaction lasted less than 5 minutes. Some people say I was trying to choke him to death, which is also not true. I was trying to restrain him. You can see in the video, there's a clear rise and fall of his chest, indicating that he's breathing. I'm trying to restrain him from him being able to carry out the threats. And then some people say that this was about race, which is absolutely ridiculous. I didn't see a black man threatening passengers. I saw a man threatening passengers, a lot of whom were people of color. The man who helped restrain Mr. Nearly was a person of color. And then a few days after the incident, I read in the papers that a woman of color came out and called me a hero. I don't believe that I'm a hero. She was one of those people that I was trying to protect.
And the reason that woman came forward was to tell, well, she did it secretly. She said, I'm not going to give you my name. She called the media and said, I'm not going to tell you who I am, because if I tell you who I am, they're going to come and get me. They're going to dox me. They're going to show up in my house. They're going to call me. They're going to put me on social media. They're going to get my picture in the news. They're going to attack me. This is how bad it's gotten. A woman who was there as a victim is afraid to come forward because the liberals want her to die like Ocasio Bang-Bangio Stupidio, AOC. Wanted that man put in the electric chair. Did you really hear anything from that man? Does that sound like a murderous, butcher, killer, hateful, white supremacist, anti-black guy to you? Did it? Huh? Oh, man, I'm sorry. I'm yelling and screaming. Please don't turn off your radio. I'll get better. I'm so mad at this. This is wrong. God, I can't believe it. This isn't America. He was a hero. Oh, jeez. I'm so ticked off about this. Oh man, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Well, you don't know what the charge is. It's still secret, which is typical New York and typical modern day jurisprudence. Oh, we're not going to tell you what it is because you might react. Oh, that would be bad. You dirty, stinking scumbags. You freaking cowards. They were afraid. You know what it was? I guarantee you, the members of the grand jury were afraid to come back with a no bill, with a no true bill. Right. They were afraid because then they'd be getting doxxed and attacked by the liberals and Ocasio, Bang Bang, and Stupidio and all those stinking liberal, the suspected child molester Chuck Schumer, the whole bunch of those people would have come after all those members of the grand jury because they live in New York, and they would have called them all kinds of names and doxxed them and come after them on social media, put the pictures, showed up at their houses. I guarantee you, if the grand jury hadn't come up with a no true bill and not indicted that Marine, they would have been attacked by the members of the Democrat Party and the leftist community. They would have been attacked on the lawns in front of their houses. They would have had their pictures all over social media. They would have had people surrounding their cars trying to leave the freaking parking lot.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Today's climate and the way Atlanta's run, if this had happened on a MARTA train, do you think it'd be any different outcome?
Oh no, they would have probably hanged the guy who did the hero of the MARTA train. They would have hanged him immediately. They wouldn't even give him a chance to be indicted. They would, and the mayor would probably say, "Oh well, you go ahead and attack him because it makes the rest of us safe to attack the white supremacist." I mean, it's unfreaking believable. Shut him down. Shut him down. We got to do something about it. I'm telling you, this is wrong. Wrong. They're probably going to fire me after this. This is ridiculous. It's appalling. It's anti-American. Oh, we got to get them back, people. Wake up, will you? God. Oh, sorry, I'll be better. 5:13. Holy crap! It's sports coming up next. And the story of the pretty gal.
I get to follow that.
Yeah, you're next. And then the pretty girl at Publix. How do you think she's going to take it? Look out! 5:13. Here we go.
Infamy, and Joe Biden will forever be remembered as not only the most corrupt president in the history of our country, but perhaps even more importantly, the president who, together with a band of his closest thugs, misfits, and Marxists, tried to destroy American democracy.
Look out, 517 on 106.3. It's extra, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer. Flounders at the controls, and now we'll talk more about the actual news that's going on. But first, a doubleheader underway, and it's time for Holy Crap, It's Sports with Pete Davis.
2-2. He's stroked to left field, and deep back is Carpenter on the dirt at the wall, leaping. It's gone! He got leather on it, and it skipped over for a home run. Michael Harris with a fist in the air as he circles the bases, and it's 8-5 Atlanta.
Whoa. Yeah.
Who's doing the call there?
Sorry.
No. I mean, who was doing the call?
I don't know. It wasn't me.
Flounder, we have any idea who that was? That wasn't Ben Ingram.
I will find out and let you know.
Would that be it wouldn't be on Baseball Network, would it?
It wasn't Brandon Gaudin, was it?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't
know. Well, anyway, the Braves, they spotted the Tigers a 4-0 lead and roared back for a 10-7 victory. So that's good. Spencer Strider gave up runs at the beginning, but they came back to one. And the last I heard, I think Austin Riley has hit a home run or something in the second game. It's like it's an old-fashioned doubleheader, one after the other.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what's going on with the second game. They should not have lost the first, so if they win the next two, that's all you need is win series.
Yeah. Excellent.
All that matters.
Excellent.
MLB has held games in the Field of Dreams ballpark in Iowa. Nothing that Kimmer would know about.
Well, I know there's a movie about it of some kind of guy with a field.
And on a military base in North Carolina.
Walking in a field, a big catch. I don't know.
Dreaming while you're out there.
Well, I got to dream of a catch. I don't know. Dream.
Now there's going to be a Major League game in the oldest pro ballpark in America still in existence. Where is this?
Well, I'll bet you it's probably somewhere in upstate New York.
Oh,
sorry. Well, it was in Abner Doubleday was in New York, right? So I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania, maybe.
You're getting warmer.
Well, Maryland.
Warmer.
All right, Virginia.
Warmer.
Well, go ahead and tell the little people, Pete.
It is a place I always thought about going. I haven't yet. Rickwood Field. You ever heard of that?
I have not heard of that.
It's in Birmingham, so it's not too far away from us.
No kidding, Alabama. Wow.
Yeah, Birmingham. Yeah, it's been around since August 18th, 1910. And it's been home to the Birmingham Barons and the Black Barons. I think it's in Hoover, isn't it? Hoover, Alabama.
Was that a semi-pro team or a pro team?
Well, it was like minor league team, and the Black Barons, of course, were a Negro League, I believe.
Right, cool.
All right. Alabama and Georgia are going to meet during the 2024 regular season in Tuscaloosa. It'll be only their fifth regular season matchup in the past 20 years. In fact, there's a chance that Georgia will have to go to Texas, Alabama, and Texas A&M that year.
All in the same year? The same season?
We will find out tonight at 7 o'clock. SEC Network will release this schedule
now, why
for 2024.
Why has it been? How many years has it been since they had that? And why is that? I wonder.
20 years. Well, they're in the West, Alabama, and Georgia's in the East. Well, the divisions are going away. Thank goodness.
I guess so. I don't know any. I don't even know anymore. I'm absolutely confused on it.
And according to Jim Williams, who's a sports writer, he says his contacts in the Southeastern Conference say they will consider Florida State and Clemson and maybe even North Carolina from the ACC, but they will not accept Miami of Florida.
Really?
And they say that Miami of Florida,
too much?
Miami, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and Duke are better suited for the Big Ten, because the Big Ten, you have to be a research school.
God, now it's going to be the Big 19 or something.
Yeah, in fact, they'll probably get down to just two leagues. We're heading to two conferences.
Yeah, it's going to be, that's right. An East and West conference, and that's going to be the ball game.
No, Big Ten and Southeast, that would be it. It'll be everybody in there.
North and South or something, yeah.
Except the one team that's been overlooked again.
And that would be Notre Dame.
No. Austin Peay.
Well, there you are.
Go Peay.
Go Peay.
A while back, a report came out rating the Falcons' locker room and strength and training center in Flowery Branch one of the worst in the NFL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So it didn't take long for an embarrassed owner, Arthur Blank, to announce they are building brand new facilities, including a free yogurt/Slurpee machine. and importing expert massage therapists from Cheshire Bridge Road. So it's going to be...
Oh, well, now you're talking.
No holds barred.
Do you want the full massage? Well, sure. As long as I'm here. How much for the happy family? How much for the happy ending?
Man of experience here. Okay. Former New York Giants and NFL pioneer Homer Jones has died. Why is Homer Jones famous, Kimmer?
Homer Jones, former New York Giant, is that what you said?
Yeah,
Homer
died at
Jones.
age 82 today.
So you've been famous maybe 50, 60 years ago. I don't know. I'm sorry.
He invented the spike.
The spike as in spiking the volleyball?
No, when he scored a touchdown, he spiked the
spiked
ball.
the football. Oh, no kidding.
That's right.
Well, now, how do they know that? No one's ever seen anybody throw the ball down when he scored a touchdown?
It was a penalty, I would imagine.
I'll be done. Well, probably, yeah.
All right. Frank Hayes was a jockey who won only one horse race his entire life.
Wow.
It was the last race he ever ran, and it was in 1923.
Wow.
Did he immediately retire as a winner? No.
What happened?
Not. Frank Hayes had a heart attack and died in the middle of the race.
Oh!
But remained in the saddle. His trusty steed, Sweet Kiss, should be Sweet Kiss of Death, crossed the finish line first and won the race.
Well, I'll be damned. It's amazing it didn't fall off. I mean, you're not that, the tips of your toes are in those stirrups.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I'm not getting that close.
I've been on a ride. I was on a racehorse once, scared the crap out of me. When my teacher put me on him as a joke, and we went into a little field that had like a round track, and it was a big, beautiful black gelding and big monster horse. I was like 13 taking lessons, and she had put me on him and said, "Okay, see if you enjoy this." And when he got onto that round oval circle, wham! And I'm going, oh my God. That was fun anyway.
Yeah. I got bucked off a pony once. So.
Oh, well, there you go. Now, have you got more sports or is that...
I got one more.
Yeah, please do. All you want.
Ever heard of Juana Barraza?
Juana Barraza. I don't think so. I'm sorry.
She was a serial killer in Mexico.
Oh, well, here.
When she was 12 years old, her mother sold her to a man for the price of 3 beers.
Yowie.
She wasn't saved until she was 17 years old. She spent 5 years with the guy.
Wow.
But beginning in 2003, it must have had some kind of effect because Juana would talk elderly women into letting her into their homes by helping them with their groceries and pretend to be a nurse sent by the government. Once inside the house, she would pick up a set of stockings or a telephone cord and use it to strangle the old lady.
Good jeez.
Juana was sentenced to 759 years in prison for the murder of 16 old women. But the federales believe she killed almost 50 people.
Because of mom. Because of what her mom did.
Juana Barraza strangled people by night. By day, she made ends meet by strangling people in the ring. Juana was a pro wrestler.
I want to be a pro wrestler.
She's just trying out her new holds.
Yeah, just extra practice. Girls got to work. Practice.
And she's been indicted in New York City. So.
Oh my! Well, here we go. I love it. All right, Pete Davis, Holy Crap at Sports. And by the way, Holy Crap at Sports podcast. Later tonight, maybe, or tomorrow. What did you decide? Anything?
Sometime early Friday morning.
Okay, by Friday. Holy Crap at Sports on your podcast, Best Sports Podcast. Now, Pete, you have made fun of me for a long time. I've admitted many times before. I tell you what, hold on a second. Here, let's get to Mike. Let's get this call. He's been hanging on for like 45 minutes. Hey, Mike, and by the way, since you're holding on, Mike, guess what? Do you want to go to see Greg Gutfeld and Tom Shalhoub this Saturday at the Fox Theater?
Oh man, I can't.
Okay. Well, thank you for your honesty. No, thank you for your honesty. We'll give them away to somebody else later. Now, thanks for holding. What's on your mind? Because I got to talk about my Publix girl here in a second. What's up?
Well, yeah. Can you hear me okay? You're on speaker.
No, you're fine. Yep.
Okay. Well, sweet. Well, first of all, I've got to say, man, it is great to hear your voice again.
Thank you.
And I was just talking to a really good friend of mine, DH. Anyway, and he said, yeah, he's on the radio now. So I called, and sure enough, here you are.
I appreciate it.
So, and I have to agree with you, that Marine is a hero.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad to hear you're still herping and hoeing.
Yeah, boy.
And toes in a stirrup, that's a nightmare sounding. So I just wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think it was Jerry Clower. He was a comedian, and he had a
I used to love Jerry Clower.
We're talking old.
Oh, he was a funny guy.
Odell, and whoever. Anyway,
shoot the dog.
And he had a skit. He had a thing about Mama Had It Good. Driving a Cadillac, having tea. And Gloria Steinem and all her girlfriends came along and screwed that up for all of them. So anyway, but do you remember?
No.
And I know I heard this commercial probably every time it was ever aired back earlier. And it had to do with, I think, an office party and a boss and his secretary talking back and forth and all. And she asked, he said, "Hey, get this out to blah, 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 blah." And she says, "Can I use your dictaphone?"
Oh, no, well, be careful now.
I know. And he said, "No. Use your finger like everybody else."
That's what I was afraid. That's what I was afraid. I hit the old cowabunga there. Anyway, we didn't quite fall for that, but thank you for trying. It's 4:28. Coming up, I want to tell you about. Pete used to make fun of me. I think probably still does. I have admitted in the past that if I'm at the Publix, I used to. Well, when I was doing the podcast, I would go to the stable every day, and I go to the Publix 4 or 5 days a week to get fresh carrots for the horses. So I'm there all the time. When I would go to Publix, if there was a really magnificent, beautiful young lady walking around with, in a mini skirt and little sandals and whatever, I would notice her and appreciate the fact that she was a lovely creature. And then I will admit that occasionally I would kind of walk around the store and maybe hope I'd go down an aisle to spot her again before I left. Okay, I wouldn't oogle her. I didn't say anything. I never did. No one would ever know. She didn't know I was looking at her, but I was saying, boy, that was a beautiful girl. And I'd go home and do nothing to her. I'd be out of the store. Boom. Well, today I took it one step further. Today at Publix. No. And it's coming up.
Bad touching.
thing, and I enjoyed the crap out of it. And I did not offend her, and everybody's happy, and I'll find out later. Oh, we got Kay back. Kay, you're on the radio. How's it going?
It's going great, Kimmer. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. Now, tell me about what's up with your life right now.
Okay, I really want to go see Greg Gutfeld. It's our 30th wedding anniversary today. We got married at Key Largo on a boat.
No kidding. Oh, man, I used to love that song. Bertie Higgins with Key Largo.
I didn't ever really care for it. But,
well, you're the one who got married there.
And so also, I've been listening to you for a long time. I went to a Newsmaker line.
The comedy shows? Cool.
Yeah,
excellent.
I met with Kara, and we got a picture together. I miss her, and I was hoping
cool.
you'd be there that night. And I tried to get you some full-size candy bars through Pete.
Oh,
the Milky Ways. You kept bitching about them.
Well, you have won the 2 tickets to see Greg Gutfeld and guest Tom Shalhoub this Saturday at the fabulous Fox Theater. And 30 years, and boy, I was just celebrating. I realized I'm now celebrating 30 years of complete deceit and just wasted life. And,
Not a wasted life. You're still here.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, congratulations, Kay. Thanks for calling. Happy anniversary,
Thank you.
really. And
Thank you.
You have a great time this weekend. And call us next week. Tell me how you enjoyed it.
Okay,
All right, sweetie. Thanks, doll. Thank you. Take care. There you are.
You know what blow your mind?
What's that?
I was just thinking, it just hit me the other day that in August, I would have been married 40 years.
Yeah, it would have been 30 for me. 30 in August. Yeah, instead of 30 years of...
I'm too young to be almost 50-year married to somebody.
You don't know what young is, mister. Oh, my God. Anyway, so there's my public story, and I don't feel bad, and everything's fine.
You probably caused them to have to go to several human resources meetings.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyway, here's the phone number, 404-741-1230. 404-7... Oh, is Kay still on the line? It looks like she's still here. There we go. I afraid we kept her on hold or something. Sorry. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. How's this for woke? Michael Jackson's daughter is condemning an actor who played in an episode of a Michael Jackson story in England. The British actor is Joseph Fiennes, a brother of Ralph Fiennes. Joseph Fiennes, and you've seen him before too. Anyway, he played the role of Michael Jackson in an episode of a British TV show called, let's see, what's it called? Urban Myths. And he played the part of Michael Jackson, and then he got a lot of criticism for it. The trailer of the episode was on TV before the episode aired in Britain. The trailer generated outrage among the public, who slammed Mr. Fiennes, the actor, for his lighter skin tone and the prosthetic nose he employed to attempt to bring the Thriller star Michael Jackson to life. Michael Jackson's daughter, Paris, blasted the episode, saying it honestly makes me want to vomit. So Sky Television in Britain pulled the episode before it even aired, based on the trailer. We have taken the decision not to broadcast the thing, a half-hour episode for the da-da-da, in light of the concerns expressed by Michael Jackson's immediate family. We set out to take a lighthearted look at reportedly true events and never intended to cause any offense. Well, Mr. Fiennes, the actor, Joseph Fiennes, says it was the wrong decision. He claimed people are right to be upset. I think people are absolutely right to be upset, and it was a wrong decision. I'm one part of that. There are producers, broadcasters, writers, directors all involved in these decisions, but obviously if I'm up front, I have become the voice for other people. I would love them to be around the table as well as to talk about it. But it came at a time where there was a movement and a shift, and that was good, and it was, a bad call, a bad mistake. Oh my God! By the way, coming up, Sky Television is going to do a new series, a remake of The Fugitive. They need an actor 6 feet tall, 40 to 50 years old, with stage and screen experience, who's willing to chop off his freaking arm so he can do it the way it's supposed to be in reality.
Well, first of all, Joseph Fiennes, he was in Shakespeare in Love.
Yeah.
So he has really fallen a long way. Second of all,
and that was a good movie.
Actor, every white role has been taken over by a black actor in the last 10 years. But you can't have a white actor play up. We've already said that they'll never let white actors play black roles.
Yeah. And God forbid, we talked about it before, God forbid you have a black chick playing Cleopatra. You know, the Egyptians weren't too happy with, all of a sudden changing the race of.
She's great. She's Macedonian.
Yeah. Anyway,
heritage.
I mean, just unbelievable. So he's apologized and said, "I think people are right to be upset." Yeah,
he'll never work again if he doesn't.
I know. But here again, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. This is it. This is exactly what's going on.
How hard up did he have to be for a job to take that gig in the first place?
Well, and by the way, Shakespeare in Love was a good movie with the hideous Gwyneth Paltrow, Little Miss Princess. But it was a well done movie about in Shakespearean days, boys played girls. They didn't have women actresses. They had guys dressed up as girls. Anyway, here we go now. Have you heard of the Cavender twins? I know you have because they're athletes. The Miami Hurricanes women's basketball team has two girls, twins, Hannah and Haley Cavender. They led the Miami Hurricanes girls team to the Elite Eight in the women's basketball tournament. And according to an article in the Free Press, there's the title of the story. They got interviewed. They were told they're going to be interviewed about women's sports and things like that. Well, the title of the title of the story that came out is "The NCAA has a hot girl problem. The Cavender twins, the emerging oligarchs of women's college basketball, are not the best players, but they might be the best looking." Well, the story touches on how they marketed themselves on name, image, and likeness, NIL, and college athletics. Well, Hannah Callender says they were misled. The interview for the article was obtained by a false pretense that it would be written about life after NIL, why we didn't take our fifth year, our passions, business opportunities. We were told via the publication the context would be to see the Cavenders as a very important story, not only in the context of women's college sports, but new media culture and business opportunities. They're building a large, successful brand, and they're at the forefront of a new space, and we think that's exciting and newsworthy. And all of a sudden it came out about how freaking hot they are. Nobody wants to have sex with them. The article demeaned our athletic achievements and business accomplishments, further narrative that hardworking, creative, and driven women can only do well if they're hot. It disregards our work ethic and dedication toward the business and endeavors. It fails to acknowledge young girls and women that follow us and that we work hard to inspire. Instead, it downgrades and degrades us to hot girls. They misled us. We're disappointed and disgusted. Don't blame you. That's what they do. Modern no journalism. It's advocacy, my friends. 5:45 already. Holy smokes on XTRA 106.3 or something. Hold on, Ruby, you're coming up.
He didn't get indicted. Joe Biden broke the law, and in many other ways we're finding out, and so far has not gotten indicted. I did everything right, and they indicted me.
Look out, it's only me, it's only the Kimmer. 10 before 6 already, holy smokes. Hold on, Ruby, be right with you. Here's the number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Who's this there, Flounder?
This is the police.
The police, of course. I don't recognize. All I know is, what's it? They have they have two big songs.
Roxanne and Every Breath You Take.
Every Breath You Take, that's one. Roxanne I don't care about, but I like Every Breath You Take. Anyway, police there. Hold on, Ruby. And Donald Trump's birthday today, 77 years old. It's also Flag Day, also the birth of the United States Army. And one of the services that feeds us information to get birthdays and stuff from is a service that Flounder gets. I think it's a British guy. They have silly one-liners about Donald Trump being 77 today. Special counsel Jack Smith plans to give Trump a dozen long-stemmed subpoenas. Oh, hey, to celebrate, Donald Trump supplying 77 coats of self-tanner. Oh, oh my God. Yes, that's why you don't use them for a living. One quick thing. Oh, this was a very important day in history. 1940 on this day. German tanks rolled into Paris, claiming control of the city in World War II before it. To be polite, though, the mayor of Paris was there to meet them with a greeting, "Table for 20,000, monsieur?" Sorry, I kind of gave up on it. All right, to the phones. It's Ruby on XTRA 106.3. How you doing there, Ruby? What's up?
Hi, I just wanted to thank you again for my Greg Gutfeld tickets. And since it's Flag Day, I have a cute Pledge of Allegiance story. Now, this is purported to be true. Okay. My next-door neighbor's mother was an elementary school teacher in Denver, Colorado. And this was back before President Eisenhower inserted the "under God" words to the pledge. Yeah. Remember, it used to be "and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible." They had one little child that said, "and to the republic for which it stands, one naked individual."
Oh, there's always... Ruby, thank you, sweetie. You have a nice day. 404-741-1230. 404... So you found it, 741-1230.
I thought it was a cute story.
I know. It was a very cute story. By the way, in case you just joined us, we've been talking a lot about Donald Trump, his reactions, his comments. If he's elected president again, he's going to appoint a special prosecutor to get into the Joe Nostra crime family. Also, the reaction MSNBC was saying they weren't even the news media. If you just joined us, has spent 219 minutes on the Donald Trump indictment, 0 seconds, zero coverage, and zero coverage of the Al Jazeera constipation. Not one single mention or 1 second of coverage from the media about the Biden Burisma crime family. Not one. Not any coverage at all. How is that news? How is that an editor being responsible for keeping the American public informed? It's more than a disgrace. It ought to be an act of terrorism. You're ruining you're sending our country in the wrong direction deliberately.
And for all of them to do it, it's like they're all getting the same memo from the DNC.
I know. 5:53. God, what the heck was I going to do? Oh, darn it. We're going to play, if you missed it earlier, we're going to play a song for you that someone told us about, and Flounder found it, I think, on YouTube, by Carrie Lake, the woman who ran for governor of Arizona and lost because she claims a fix was in. There's a song about it coming up later. I wanted to, we got time. Yeah, we got time. I was going to do something here, but I'm killing myself. I know what it is. I forgot to mention. I mentioned a Publix girl, and I teased it in the wrong way. What I said at the end was to the Publix girl, it was so pretty. I said, Prince drive out that, and the girl said no. I said, you're beautiful. I said, hell, I'll marry you right now. In fact, I'll put you in my will. And she started laughing, and the first time I've seen her laugh or smile. So everybody came out fine. So nothing was offensive, and everybody was okay. And I did tell her I was going to marry her. Anyway, in Connecticut, check this out. Speaking of 30 years of marriage for our friend Kay, and 30 years of thinking he was finding a marriage for the Kimmer. In Connecticut, the Archdiocese of Hartford, Connecticut, the priest at St. Thomas Catholic Church in Thomaston was doing communion. And one of the Eucharistic ministers, they say, was running out of hosts, the wafers, and suddenly there were more hosts in the ciborium, which is the metal bucket vessel thing. The clergyman described the suspected miracle as very powerful, very awesome, very real, and very shocking. There have been 152 known cases in history of the Eucharist miracles recognized by the Roman Catholic Church since the beginning of the 21st century. The priest said that it was a metal vessel design. They were distributed Catholic Mass. The suspected miracle was they just kept showing up. There were either as many as there were before and even more inside the ciborium than there had been at the beginning of when they were passing out the hosts. They came out of somewhere. And they said, well, they were there. They were gone, and then they were there.
It's magic.
I know. I love stories like this because it's like, okay, there's proof. There is really a thing. Okay, this is something. There's extra. There's a thing. There's a God. There's a, Jesus, something. Doesn't that help you say, okay, feel a little better now because I'm going to die? I don't know about you.
A bunch of crackers mysteriously appearing? No.
Well, now, of course, in our church, we had grape juice and actual bread crumb, actual squares of bread. No wafers. It was things of bread and grape juice because it was Methodist church and they didn't allow wine, which was kind of fun. Did you hear the story? I know you did, Pete, about the former NFL running back named Peyton Hills. I didn't know him very well, but anyway, he was at Florida Beach with his mother and his son and his niece in Florida. All of a sudden, the mother says, oh my God, they're drowning. He looks out and he sees his 9-year-old son and his 8-year-old niece in danger. He said, I knew I had to pay. He just ran into the water, a riptide. He knew I had to get past the son, my own son. I had to go past him struggling to get to the girl first because she was doing more struggling. She would not have made it. Somebody gave him a bodyboard. By the time he got the little girl. By the time he got to his son, he was pretty much limp. He didn't have any strength in him to swim. He held a 130-pound son, towering waves. He was going under himself. He couldn't even swim himself. He says, you're seeing my son's eyes roll back in the back of his head. You're thinking, my God, Lord, please. I really don't care about my own life. I don't, but if we can get him out of here, that's the only thing I'm going to care about now. He's drowning. His son is drowning. The little girl is drowning. Is saving them both. He finally got his son with enough strength to get back toward the shore. He started to walk, and that's when Mr. Hills collapsed himself in the water and was saved from drowning himself. Can you imagine? He said, I knew I had to go save the little girl past my son first in the water. Went past his own son because the girl was in more danger. Oh, man. And then he says his eyes back and, whew. Have you ever seen death like that, Pete, where you think it's over?
Oh, yeah. That was the riptide. I got caught off San Diego. I thought this was it. And I had a choice. I said, I can give up or I can just keep going and maybe something will happen. And they sent the lifeguard out. And there was a man and a woman lifeguard, and they got there, and they couldn't get in either. So she says, we're just going to have to swim out. and we swam out past the longest concrete pier in North America on the West Coast. We had to swim so far out there, the Coast Guard had to come pick us up.
Well, again, if you're in a riptide, swim with, don't fight it, go with it. Either go with it to left or right, the direction it's going, or out and away. Do not try to fight the riptide, because you can't do it. You have to let it take you. I mean, go and do whatever makes you the safest, whether it's going out past it or with it to left or right instead of into shore, because you won't make
right
it.
into the sharks.
We couldn't go because there was a rock jetway there, basically, that would have bashed us up against it till it had killed us. We had to go out.
It happened to me at Cape Cod. I got caught in a riptide when I was 16, working at a summer camp, and there was rock. It wasn't a rocky shoreline, but it was Cape Cod, so the ocean there is all rocks and stuff. There's no beach, and I was all banged up like crazy. And I thought I was going to die. I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out of the water.
The police had to bring us back, and we were gone an hour. And my wife was there crying because she thought she was going to have to call my mom and tell her I was dead.
Yeah, wow. Here's a song to go out with. This is Carrie Lake, the former would-be governor of Arizona. The song is called I forgot what it's called, but it's about
81 million votes my ass.
My ass. Here we go about the election in Arizona.
And national. I'm in perfect health. We've recently had our automobiles serviced, and the tires are good, and the brakes are in good order.